Spike, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
On The Breakfast Show. We're going to talk about your new film, Blackkklansman, which I've had the pleasure of seeing already. It is one of the most powerful films I've seen in a very, very long time.
That's very kind of you.
It's very true as well, Spike. Now, there are people that are going to find it very provocative before they've even seen it. It's got Black and KKK in the title. I remember seeing the original posters for the first time with the KKK hood, the Black Power fist, the Afro comb. Was that your intention to kind of shock people immediately?
I wouldn't use the word shock, but I think that we live in a very precarious time in the world, not just the United States of America, with the rise of the right here in the UK, Brexit. So it's a true story. Ron Stowers in the early 70s became the first African-American police officer in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And he also infiltrated Ku Klux Klan.
Now, on paper, as you say, that's an incredible story. A black police officer that infiltrates the KKK. It doesn't sound like, on paper, a film that should make you laugh. But in that incredible Spike Lee way, you had me in my seat chuckling at times. How did you do that? How hard is it to balance something so serious with humor?
That's a very, very good question. And it's hard to do, but I did it before. I've done it before in films like Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X. Well, I like to use the word humor instead of comedy. That's just me. But this is not the first time it's been done in history cinema. One of my favorite films, Dr. Strangelove, directed by the great Stanley Kubrick. That film is about the annihilation of this God's earth due to nuclear weapons. Film is hilarious. The great Peter Sellers is in it. So there's been many, many films that have dealt with serious subject matter but have humor in them.
Yeah. Were you concerned at all about encouraging people to laugh at racism? Because there are some scenes where I was actually laughing at just the audacity of what was being said.
I think that particularly the Klan, they're so stupid, you have to laugh. and just the fact that these supposed subhumans, these beasts, they can't even recognize that they're talking to one on the phone. So there are many things where people think they shouldn't laugh, but it's laughter, absurdity makes you want to laugh.
And the intention was to make them the butt of the joke, I guess.
Yes, but at the same time, though, that they're still dangerous.
Yeah.
The Klan, the alt-right, neo-Nazis, those are dangerous people, and it's not a laughing matter.
Of course.
I hate to use this term, but at the end of the day, they're dangerous.
Now, this is a true story,
yes.
And this, of course, isn't the first time you've ventured into true stories. Malcolm X,
right,
played by Denzel Washington. And in this movie, the lead, of course, Denzel's son, John David Washington. Was there any similarities you saw when you first started filming with John?
So once in a while, John David would say something, I would hear his father. But that was it. I mean, they're two, father and son, and I just see it as a blessing. Got to work with Denzel, his father. Mo Better Blues, Malcolm X, he got game, Inside Man, and now John David with his son with Blackkklansman.
Did Denzel ever pop down to the set?
No.
He kept his distance, let John do his thing.
Far away. Because it's a very tricky dynamic. And Denzel was 100% supportive, and he just wants him to, do the best he can on his own.
Yeah.
And I think which would any father want.
Of course. And how did John David end up in the role? Did he audition? Did you already have him in mind?
I just offered him the part.
No audition?
No, nothing.
How did you know he'd be so good for it? Because he is perfect as Ron.
I just knew it. Intuition, experience. I just knew he could do the job.
No questions asked. The job was his.
None.
Wow. So the first time he read the part was when you were actually doing the table read?
Yes.
And he nailed it?
He nailed it when I made the decision.
Thankfully, because there was no turning back. Your mind was made up.
I was 100% confident that he would do the work that needs to be done and come through.
Yeah.
The fruit is not far from the tree.
Clearly doesn't. Now, the great thing about being a creative, Spike, is that you can, I guess, communicate your own political thoughts through your work. Now, although this film was based on a true story, set in the 70s, it did feel like you were making a lot of comments about America in present time.
You are correct.
What do you think are the main things that you were trying to communicate?
Well, number one, I wanted to say that this stuff is not new. That has been packaged differently. You know, you don't have to have a hood and a robe on today to really be a hater. And I definitely wanted to connect the 70s, the past, with what's happening today. And that is why we have that, I don't want to give it away, but the ending of the movie.
A very powerful ending.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Spike, let's talk about your work you do with the NYPD, because
yes.
you do obviously communicate a lot of your political beliefs through your movies, but you're not just expressing these things creatively. You're actually doing work in the communities.
Well, here's the thing. I live and breathe New York City. And I have never, ever said that I hate the police. Look, I'm never going to say that all police are bad, but I comment on my stuff that feels unjust. It was horrifying to me to see in video the NYPD strangling Eric Garner to death. And when I saw that, I already thought about the fictionist strangling of Ray Rahim in Do the Right Thing. But people of color get shot down on the streets of America way too often. And that was one of the main things the national football players, the brothers, were protesting. It was not about we're disrespecting the flag or we're disrespecting armed forces. There's a history in sports, especially amongst African Americans, for using that platform to talk about it. John Carlos, Tommy Smith, 60 Olympics in Mexico, where they held up the black fist.
With the gloves, yeah.
With the gloves. Muhammad Ali refused to be inducted into the Vietnam War. So there's always been athletes, particularly African-American athletes, who say this is unjust and we must change it. Simple.
Now, I know your role is kind of, I imagine, to help heal that rift where possible between the community and the police.
Well, there's a big rift between the population of color and the police, because we don't see other people being shot, with the regularity that other people do. So this is a big problem, and I commend the NFL players who are not going to bow down to this president, who's called them son of bitches, have called them un-American, have told them to leave it. Here's the thing. For someone to say to a black person, love America, love or leave it, they don't really know history. Black people have been more patriotic, I would say, than almost anybody. For reason maybe we shouldn't be. The first person to die in the Revolutionary War, which is the United States versus Britain, was a black man named Crispus Attucks. African Americans fought in every single war, many times still not being able to vote, denied, considered second-class citizens. So we have, as they say, we're in this. We got skin in the game. We have skin in the game because, which people try to forget, but it's a fact. As my Brooklyn brother Jay-Z would say, facts. The United States of America was built upon the genocide of Native people and slavery.
You mentioned him.
Agent Orange.
Agent Orange.
I got that from Busta Rhymes.
You mentioned Agent Orange,
Yeah.
which is how we will refer to your president. What would you want Agent Orange to take away from this movie if he were to sit down and watch it?
The man, I don't think the man has any soul, has any morals. So it's not gonna make him, even if he saw it, it's not gonna make him feel any different and change his mindset or put love in his heart. Because the man his heart is full of hate.
And you think he's stuck in his ways?
How old is he?
He's old. He's hella old.
He can't change.
Yeah.
He's I feel, look, there's an expression called deeds, not words. It's not what you say, it's what you do. What has he done in the White House the last 18 months? Most recently, ripped families apart. Separated young children, infants, from their parents. That sounds like what happened to my ancestors, to your ancestors.
So what is it like being black in America at the moment? Because we kind of only consume what we
Here's
get
the thing,
through
though. Here's the
news.
thing, though. I'm glad you mentioned that because every time, from way back, I've been coming to London since '86, and it's always this perception like whoever is hot at that time, Michael Jackson, or even today, we go fast forward to Beyonce, like those the image you get of who we are as a people. Now, all love to everybody, but everybody ain't like, that ain't the whole popular. We can't, I would say that the people here in the UK don't go for okie doke, think like all African Americans like a rolling like Beyonce and Jay-Z and LeBron James. That ain't the norm. So black people struggle the world over. That's the fact. We can't think because one or two make it like it's like everybody. So collectively, we got to move forward and try to lift. I think as we lift ourselves, we lift everybody else too.
Yeah. Well, speaking of presidents, let's talk about Obama.
Yes.
Who you like. And I read actually that you broke the news to Obama about the Charlottesville riot, which of course descended into chaos in 2017.
Well, he wasn't president at that time. It was
the runoff. Yeah.
It was post. That guy was in the office already.
It was a new era.
Yeah, you only get 8 years.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Has Obama seen Blackkklansman?
He asked me for he asked my wife for a DVD, a Blu-ray.
So has he watched it? Has he given you any feedback yet?
Nothing yet.
But he's got it.
He's got it.
I love that Obama got a DVD sent to him personally. You have to let us know what he thinks when he's seen
Blu-ray.
it. Oh, Blu-ray, of course. Obama has a Blu-ray player, of course. Now,
Everybody got a Blu-ray player.
some people haven't.
Where?
There's people that haven't got even DVD players.
Where?
Spike, man.
It's like having a TV.
No. There's people that are
Where?
struggling.
In America?
I mean, I'm sure in America there's some houses without Blu-ray players. Let's not get into that.
All right.
This is one thing that I wanted to kind of ask you, because the end of Blackkklansman, it kind of felt like a call to action. I'm not sure if that was your intention, but what?
Yes.
It was. Perfect. What now? Where do people go now? Wake up. From Do the Right Thing.
No, yeah. No, really, and the last 2 words of school days are wake up.
Of course, yeah.
So I did something like this. I'm in my 4th decade of making films. And the one persistent or common thread to most of my films is that as a people, we just have to wake up. It has nothing to do with black and white, just human beings in general. Wake up to the BS we're being fed and we're consuming, and just be conscious. Be aware of the surroundings and how this stuff affects our life, which affects our children, our grandchildren, and further down the line.
Thank you so much, Spike.
Thank you.